The performer wearing the suit, the big piece of foam rubber, was stationed pretty statically on a black stage. And because there were 6 or 8 puppeteers operating his eyebrow movements and his eyes, with cables running from the butt of the puppet to giant prehistoric control rods, where the puppeteers actually were able to operate the mechanical functions, the character himself couldn't move. Never mind the fact that we had, at any given shot, we had as many people around the puppet behind him, dressed in black, sticking their arms through slits in the back of the body that were hidden in wrinkles, to literally get in there and move it around with their hands and arms, holding on to the cheeks, going, if I want him to smile, I'm going to pull his cheeks back, because a cable would never do that, and even if it could, it wouldn't distort the shape of the head. So because of those reasons, let's just say when Bill Murray comes upon him in the hotel, the character has to fly towards him when he attacks. Guess what? He can't fly. We can't put him in a harness. We can't do anything because he's got a bunch of cables, a bunch of puppeteers, and oh, never mind, all these guys with their hands sticking, through the back of his head, manipulating it. So what Richard Edlund came up with, which was genius, because Richard had a lot of experience with Star Wars and all of the motion control stuff. He was a pioneer in all of that, how to get a spaceship to move. So in the case of Slimer flying toward Bill Murray, Slimer was just standing there and we were all doing our thing, and the camera moved towards him. And of course he got larger in frame, and there you go. In the scene where the Ghostbusters are trying to entrap Slimer, first of all, it's just mean. I don't know if that's just me. The poor guy is panting and he's going nuts, and they're tormenting him. I mean, they're, never mind crossing the beams, they're torturing the poor guy. And in my mind, the guy never did anything to anybody. He's eating off a room service cart, trying to have a drink. He didn't do anything. Just a ghost doing ghost things. They decided to put him in a little tiny ghost trap. What the hell is that all about? I don't know. Never mind that. Here's how we did it. When he's flying around the chandelier, of course, he couldn't move around the chandelier because he had 12 people stuck to him. So the way we did that is we actually put the character and all of the puppeteers on a large Lazy Susan and literally moved the puppeteers and the character around at the same time, which actually that's one of my, it's very strange now I look back at the film to see that scene, and the Ghostbusters are torturing him, actually. They're being really mean to the poor guy. What did he do? He never did anything to him. He's minding his own business, and they're just, watch it again, they're torturing him. Not nice. Slimer was a guy, Mark Wilson, wearing a big rubber suit with a bunch of people trying to move it around in funny ways. But one of the funniest aspects of Ghostbusters was probably the funnest film. I mean, I've worked on a couple hundred films, but Ghostbusters was really fun because, guys that make monsters, guys that do splatter effects, don't often get the opportunity to work on a comedy. And by virtue of the fact that a film is a comedy, it's a fun environment to be on when you're making the movie, because everybody's laughing, everybody's trying to be funny. I mean, it really is a different experience than working on a serious film. So one of the really interesting things about filming the elements of the Slimer character was the performer wearing the suit looked through the mouth. But he had eyes. He had little silly beady eyes up here. But it was so convincing that on set, the art director, the director of photography, the puppeteers, even I, when I would address him, and I'm standing right here and Slimer's right here, I wouldn't look at the performer's face that was coming through the mouth. I actually looked at these stupid yellow and red eyes, thinking I was talking to a real ghost. It was just absolutely ridiculous. It was really funny. It was made for a lot of humor on set. I look back at this film now, and I'm actually kind of horrified when I see some of the footage, even what's in the final cut of the film, because audiences' expectations have really evolved over the years, and with digital technology and digital animation, and now with 3D digital, everything is more than perfect. But back then, people gave you a break. It's a piece of rubber, you put some strings on it, you pull a stick, and it's like, it is what it is. Thinking back about the actual creation of Slimer and how much fun it was to have artists, sculptors, painters, people making real things with their hands, getting dirty and making molds and having something to look at on a set, it's kind of bittersweet, because now, 2009, you get a script, you've got a character described as an amorphous, incredibly animated cartoon character that flies around. Hello, it would be done digitally. There would not even be a question of that. as a result of all of this, you know, the change in the business, I like spilling coffee on a painting. I like the fact that artists get together and work with each other and bounce ideas off each other instead of sitting in a dark room somewhere. Don't get me wrong, I actually really love digital effects as well, but it's not my thing personally. You know, it's been 25 years since I sculpted Slimer for the first film, and I actually recently got an opportunity to do it again. And this little guy is kind of a collaboration between Sony Pictures, Amazon, and Atari in commemoration of the anniversary for the release of the video game. And I've opened a company called Solid Thought Corporation with a great friend of mine, Paul Francis. And our kind of goal is to, like, you know, bring the physical aspects of filmmaking back into the collector's hands, back into the fans' hands, because everything's gone so digital now. We just want to get dirty again. We want to have fun. We want to make art. And that's what this is all about. It's really exciting. You know, having been involved in Ghostbusters, when you're close to something, when you're close to a phenomenon, you don't really get it. You lose your objectivity. However, with the 25th anniversary coming up, and seeing this kind of worldwide rabid kind of excitement about Ghostbusters, it makes me realize that that was a serious deal. That was kind of a, you know, opportunities like that don't come around very often in your life, to be involved with something that truly becomes an icon, and that people probably right now as we film this are watching Ghostbusters somewhere on the world, and watching Slimer and being excited about something that I had a hand in making. And it's a great feeling. It's a really cool feeling. What else you got? I don't even think I answered any questions. I had fun though.